In today's video, we will be discussing homeostasis. Homeostasis in the body is the ability for, the body to maintain a set point or maintain equilibrium when affected by a variety of factors. But today we're going to focus on temperature in the body. We have a graph here. So right here is our temperature on the left-hand side, y-axis, and time down below. So to just give a brief rundown, so right here, right around 98.6, this is our set point, and our body will stay in a range called the normal range. And anything outside of normal range is when medical tension is required. Okay. So just to explain homeostasis, we're right here, right? Let's just say it gets hot outside. So naturally our body's going to increase in its core temperature. But the body will, if it's functioning correctly, will actually drop down to correct itself from sweating. Now, if we're dropping too low, the body will stop sweating and we will increase our temperature. And this will just continue to happen. And that is a normal function of the body. Now, we're going to take a look at a reflex control pathway for body temperature. So our stimulus will be heat, okay, and our receptor is skin. So an increase in the extracellular environment, right, will signal the skin to communicate with the control center or the brain through blood and neurons, which is called the afferent pathway, which is communication towards control center. Sorry, I'm abbreviating a ton. However, so once the brain receives this, right, the message will go to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus will, oh, hey, the body temperature, the core body temperature is increasing. So we need to do something in response to that. And so we have an efferent pathway. Efferent pathways is communication from the control center. It's communication away, and that's towards. So away from the control center, causing effect to an effector. An effector. So an effector, for example, could be sweating, right? And this will naturally affect our stimulus in a negative feedback loop. This will then cause our body temp to decrease, bringing us back to normal, right? To normal here. Another example we see a lot of times with this is blood pressure. So let me just clean up some of these words here. All right, that's good enough. All right, blood pressure. So we'll draw a graph again because I think that's the best way to illustrate things. So let's just say this is normal blood pressure, right? This line. And let's just be hypothetical. We have a decrease in blood volume. So that can either have been like a cut, or like a big cut on like an arm or a leg, or you just didn't drink enough water, right? And so this actually decreases our blood pressure, right? But because our body, through this reflex control pathway, like the stimulus, so that would be our blood pressure, right? Stimulus will be blood pressure. Receptor is going to be receptors in the arteries in our vasculature that will send signals to the control center again, and then to send an efferent response. For example, if our blood pressure is decreasing, let's increase our heart rate or increase peripheral resistance or vasoconstriction. Bringing us back to set point and starting this process. Now, this normal process between the normal range, that is called a negative feedback loop. This is a negative feedback loop. That right here, this is also a negative feedback loop. But in order to describe the different feedback loops associated with homeostasis, I would like to use this car example. Okay, so we'll start off with negative feedback. Okay, we're here, right? And we need to go to, I don't even know, a grocery store. Okay, grocery store. We start driving. Right, and then we remember we forgot our wallet. So we go all the way back and we get our wallet. And then we go back to the grocery store and we get what we need to buy. And then we can come back and drop off our groceries. So negative feedback loop is what allows the body to stay in the normal range and just correcting that variable and keeping it as close to the set point as possible. Now, inadequate and positive feedback loops are a little more tricky, so I'm going to use this car example. So for, let's just say, inadequate, so this is actually negative, inadequate feedback loop. We have a hill, so, right, we still have our grocery store. Oh my goodness, that's horrible drawing. We still have our grocery store. We're driving, and then we forget our wallet again, so we need to drive back. But on the way back, right, we have this hill. Now, our car is going to represent our body, and now our body is running. Engine's running, everything's running great. The tires are turning, it's fantastic. However, we come across an icy uphill. Now the tires are turning, right? But we just can't get up this hill. We just can't. We're trying. We just can't get up this hill. So we are not going to come back down. We can't come back down because we can't get past that point. So inadequate feedback is negative feedback, but it's not working properly because of some external force. Now, an example of positive feedback would be in this car scenario. If we get rid of the ice, we're just looking at the car. Okay, the car again is running properly, so we're going to the grocery store. Oh, we forget our wallet, so we're about to turn around, and we have this hill right here. We have that hill. And we're trying to get up, we're trying. But there's actually something wrong with the car. The moment we turn around and we put it into drive, something happens with the transmission, or something bad happens, something wrong happens with the car. And you put it in forward, but in reality, it goes in reverse. So we're actually going backwards, okay? And so in our example with the grocery store, we're actually just gonna keep going and going, and that is an example of positive feedback loop. Okay, so if you want to look at our our body temperature, let's just say that sweating, right? Sweating, right? If our body doesn't signal our sweat glands to release sweat, right, or water and moisture, then our core temperature is just going to keep rising and rising and rising and rising. And that's an example of positive feedback loop. Our body's not working properly, communicating with itself. So that is all I have for you today.